Hey everyone, this is Steve from Commercial Forest. Hope you had a great July 4th weekend. Today I'm going to very quickly answer a question that's come up multiple times over the course of my career. I've been in the lumber business 25 years now. One type of lumber that results in an unusually high percentage of customer dissatisfaction is quarter sawn lumber. And there is a good reason for that. I'm going to tell you what the problem is with quarter sawn lumber, what you can do to avoid the problem, and it's going to take me about 90 seconds, so stay tuned. All right, so traditionally, this is the part of the video where I beg you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on social media, but we're gonna go ahead and bypass that, break the rules, and go straight to the exact reason for the video. All right, 40 seconds in, here's the answer. Sawmills treat quarter sawing as a process, consumers treat quarter sawn as a product. So what do we mean by this? Okay, let's take some 9-inch wide boards that we cut off some beautiful quarter sawn white hard maple, sugar maple, from our yard. The grain is very straight and it's beautiful stock, all pretty paper white, and the grain lines there must be huge logs. This is what people look at when they buy quarter sawn in terms of the final product or the board. Do the grains go up? Does the grain go up and down? Is it very vertical? What does it look like? Is it not too squirrely? And these lines show beautiful quarter sawn from a consumer standpoint. This is what a consumer evaluates when they're trying to decide, hey, is this piece of wood quarter sawn, or is it plain sawn, or is it rift sawn, or what? They're looking at the product. Sawmills, while they are concerned with the grain of the final product, of course, they are mostly concerned with the process of quarter sawing the log. So this video by Frank Miller shows exactly the process they go through, and they take cuts a certain way to develop quarter sawn grain in the log. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the Frank Miller video in the description below, and you can check that out because it is a great video that I strongly recommend you watching anyway. But if you've ever bought plain sawn lumber, just regular lumber without specifying grain, it's probably plain sawn, and sometimes you'll notice that you'll occasionally get a board that is rift or quarter sawn in that load, and you may ask yourself, well, why is that? The answer is that you can try to cut plain sawn lumber, or you can try and cut rift and quartered lumber, but when you do that, assuming the logs are pretty good quality, you're still going to get about 80% rift and quartered and 20% plain sawn, or not rift and quartered. This is why when you pull up your National Hardwood Lumber Association rule book, it basically says, when you turn to the section on quarter sawn lumber, that only 80% of the face of the cutting units in the quarter sawn lumber should have a radial grain angle of 45 degrees or less on one face. Now, translating that into layperson's terms, what that means is maybe 20% of the wood might be flat sawn or plain sawn, and a decent chunk of it may only be have a 45-degree end grain radius, which is not very quarter sawn if you ask most people who are looking for quarter sawn lumber. They say, wait, 45 degrees, that's not even close to quarter sawn. Well, by the quarter sawing process and by the National Hardwood Lumber Association rule book, it is, but that doesn't really help you if that's not what you're looking for. So what the higher end mills do is, and not all of them do this, but basically the higher end sawmills will go ahead and do their quarter sawing process, and then after that process is done, they will regrade all of the material for straight grain quarter sawn and rift sawn, and then maybe even kick out the plain sawn and put it into their plain sawn lumber pile. And you know, it's an extra process, it takes extra time, and they're basically downgrading some of this lumber, but the final product is a lot more in line with what many end users want. So the critical question you want to know is, after the sawmill quarter saws the lumber, do they regrade it for quarter sawn, rift, and plain sawn? And if the answer is yes, you are most likely going to be very happy with the quarter sawn product that you receive. If they don't, you can basically expect to see a breakdown of 80% heavy quartered, but some rift, and roughly 20% of plain sawn you can expect to find in that lumber, and that is typical for what you will see in quarter sawn marketed hardwood lumber. Thanks for watching.